Hey, what's going on, guys? The Titanomachia series is finally here with the Gale Hound from Kotobukiya. Now, this is a series designed by Naoki, and it should be very interesting. The model kits are actually going to be coming out from a couple of different model kit companies. Kotobukiya is going to be in charge of doing like the character models like you see here. This is the first one out in the line, and I know for a fact that this line has been in development for quite a long time, so I'm sure it's been a long time coming for Naoki and everyone there at Kotobukiya, everyone involved with this, but it looks awesome, so I'm really excited to check this out for today's video. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first off, taking a look at the box before we get into the runners and then the kit itself. Really cool artwork design here for the front of this box. The artwork here for this done by Naoki Morishita, very familiar name if you guys have been paying attention to box artwork design. He does a lot of work for Kotobukiya and Bandai as well, but the artwork here looking really cool. All the details of the lighting effects and weathering effects here on the suit look really, really cool. Around on the side of the box, you can see it's a pretty thick box, so we have a pretty good amount of stuff in here. This is ES01, that's Exosuit 01 in the line. Right here on this side, some information about the exoskeleton Gale Hound suit, and there's some text in Japanese, a photograph of the painted kit right there. The list price of 8,000 yen, and then back around over onto the other side, we've got a bunch more photos and information here. Front view, rear view, you have the helmet, you also have just a head there as well if you want to have the helmet off. There's the rear view. Here's a bunch of the interlocking armor detail gimmicks about the armor, how the parts are going to move as you move the kit around, the weapon that it has there, that really cool rifle that can be attached onto the back and used kind of without hands. And then of course it's highly customizable just by using some of the MSG or modeling support goods, weapons and armor parts available from Kotobukiya as well. And with that, let's go ahead and pop open the box and see what we've got here. So right off the bat, a whole bunch of black, which is kind of interesting considering I think the last Naoki designed model kit that I built was the P Bandai version of the MG Camphor, which also had a very similar color scheme to it. But for the front of the instruction manual, we just have that same box art again. Really cool design work there. For that, on the back side, Titanomachia, create the brave new world in your hand. There's also a QR code there to the Titanomachia website, so check that out if you guys are interested. On the inside of the front cover here, explanation for the world and story. It's all in Japanese there, unfortunately, but there is also more information about the exoskeleton and the Gale Hound in particular. There is illustration work. Then we have the cool logo there for the Sharp Fang. Very cool. After our typical kind of basic construction tips there, we've got our parts list over here on the next page. And from there, it's just straight on into the action with the construction here. And that's going to be the bulk of the instruction manual. Let's see what we've got if we go ahead and skip to the very back pages here. We've got the action pose kind of guide there, as a couple of sample poses. And then down here is the color and decal guide. So the colors there on the side, and they're showing you where all the decals are going to be placed around on the kit. And it's not a ton of decals, but there are a lot of options. Like here for the numbers, you have a lot of different number options there between white, black, and blue. Also for the rest of the markings here, you have a lot of these available in white, black, or blue. For those, this is like for the marking in like the stomach section there, you have eye decals for the head, and then some caution markings there as well in white. Before we get into the runners then, one separate part that we have here for the helmet, it's that clear part with some black and blue pre-painted on that, looks very nice. And then we got our hand parts, which are in this softer black plastic here. We've got closed fists, open expressive hands, holding hands, and then some other different kind of rifle support holding hands there as well. And yeah, the majority of the runners are going to be here in this black, but it's a very interesting satin finish on this black. Here's runner A, here's runner B, and just to show you guys close up, I mean, the detail on here looks really, really nice. And with that satin finish, normally with like black plastic, you have to kind of be careful because the detail can be lost and you can't really see it very well. But here, now we're on runner C, you can see that the detail should be easier to see just because of the way that it's going to catch the light being molded in this kind of more satin finish. Continuing on then, runner D, we have two of these, and again, a lot of really great detail on these parts. Runner E as well, we've got two of these. Runner F, we've got one of those, and G, two of these as well for some of the joint parts there, it looks like. Runner H, some more joint type parts, and then runner I is a smaller runner here of some more joint parts, all still in black. But then for runners J and K, we're switching over to a molded silver, which does look really nice and should give us some very nice silver accents around on the kit. Runner K here, as you can see, we've got two of those. And then we're back to black here for runner L, a few more joint parts. Runner M, we've got two of these, looks like mostly parts parts for like the cannon rifles there for the weapon equipment. Runner N, we've got 2 of these as well. Again, parts for the weapons there, looks like mostly. And then our last few runners are going to be runner Q here is going to be the hair parts in gray. Runners O and P are some clear parts. O being this clear part for in like the stomach section, P being this other clear blue part. And lastly, runner R being the parts in skin tone for the head, ears, and faceplate. Unfortunately, the faceplate not pre-printed for this kit. That's a bit of a disappointment, but that's it for the runners. Let's go ahead and get it put together. Alright guys, and so here is the kit once it's all built up. Here looking super cool in that all black color scheme with the silver accents on there. I was expecting it to remind me a bit of the Ultraman kits in the Bandai Figure Eyes line just because of the overall design. It's sort of similar to that. The build though was definitely different, and this one definitely feels really nice just in terms of the complexity of the parts. There's quite a lot of part separation built into this, and it feels like it's for a number of different reasons. For the first reason of just because of part separation for colors, even though it's mostly black. If you did want to custom paint it, there is a lot of really great color separation on there, so you wouldn't necessarily need to do a whole lot of masking, so you have a lot of separate parts in there. But then also for functionality to give you really nice articulation for this one as well, as we'll see once we get into that portion of the video. But first off, let's just go ahead and take a look at its accessories. First off, for the accessories, we're going to have our alternative head here, which does look really nice in terms of the molded parts for the hair. Just would have been nice if the face would have been pre-printed on there for us as well, like we're used to with some of the kits like the Megami device and Frame Arms Girl kits, etc. So you will have to use the included waterside decals for the eyes for that face if you want to use that. That said, I'm probably just going to stick with the helmet head here anyway. Those pre-printed little blue details on there do look really nice. And that clear part is removable to reveal kind of the underside of the face mask helmet there, where you have some more clear blue parts for a kind of visor in there. Overall, the molding and the detail here, as you can see, looks really, really good. For our hand options, as we saw, these are going to be in that little bit softer material, but we've got our closed fists here. We've also got these open expressive hands like this, as well as these open hands here, which are supposed to be like kind of rifle support hands that you'll use for the secondary support. And then we've got our weapon holding hands, which we're going to use for the included weapons here, but of course you could also use these with any of the Kotobukiya MSG style weapons if you wanted to customize the kit some more. Other than that, the rest of our accessories here is just going to be kind of option parts for like parts forming the weapons that we have here for this guy, which are on the back. And so we'll use those here. As you can see, we've got those here on the back, and they're just connected via a little ball joint there, so you can kind of move them around here on the back. But if you wanted to use them up over the shoulder as like over the shoulder cannons, you're just going to remove this off here. We have to do like kind of some parts forming, so remove that connection piece, separate this into the front and back section. We're going to remove this connection piece here in the middle, that little triangle bit. I'm going to replace that with this piece here, just going to plug into the cannon part there. This part there on the back, you can fold out the end of that like so, and then this is going to plug onto the backpack right here. So there's how that's going to look as an over-the-shoulder cannon like so. Very cool. That said, if we wanted to make it into a just handheld rifle, once again, we're going to separate it into the two sections, use this alternative connection piece here, and just put them together like that, and then it's just a handheld rifle that you can use. And of course we can dual wield that with the help of our two weapon holding hands that we have for both the left and the right side. Last thing then, if you just want to have this stored onto the kind of side hip section, we're going to put this back in its kind of base collapsed form. We're going to use an alternative connection piece here. This one has just a straight peg on it instead of a ball joint, and we're just going to plug that onto the top of there like so, and then we can go onto the kit. You can see we got a hard point right here on the side of the hips. This one's actually for the left side. They are specific to the left and the right side, but that one goes on there like that, and then it can be stored on the side of the hip like so. Now just take a closer up look here at the main kit itself and some of the features. There are some really nice features, like I said, to the part separation, articulation, and everything here of this. So while the head unfortunately can't really point up any further than that, which is a little bit disappointing, you can point that all the way down to there. You can bend that a little bit to the side here as well, like so. Over here, the shoulder armor will move up and down, so you can get that out of the way for the arms to come up straight out to about 90 degrees, maybe slightly higher than that. And here in the armpit too, these kind of underarm panels right there can also move slightly, so you can bend that out a little bit. So when you're moving this side to side, you can have those armor panels moved out of the way to give you more range of movement here side to side like that in the midsection. And we've also got a really nice forward and back bend here between the different sections of the body inside that clear part there in the center. Just a reminder to you guys that you do have the waterside decal that goes up underneath there, this full one, or you can just use this kind of blank black one and then stick whatever other decals you want over the top of that, or you can just leave it black. I mean, then otherwise you might as well just not put anything in there, but you could kind of create your own set of symbols and numbers, whatever you want to put on there, kind of similar to like this one, but you can customize that with everything else that you've got there to go in the stomach section there. Back to the shoulders though, that will move in and out like that. We have rotation there at the top of the bicep, double joint here at the elbow to give you a pretty full bend there. And then here at the wrist, we actually have 2 points of articulation. This section will just move around on a ball joint there, and then the hand can bend forward and back, rotate, so you can adjust the angle of that just like you would on any other kind of Mecha Musume kit from Kotobukiya. Just going around here to the back, I already showed you guys how the shoulder moves, but just to show you from the back, just because it's cool how the shoulder blade will move along with that when you pull the arm out to the side there like that is pretty cool. Here at the back on the butt plate, if you remove this little bit right here, you can see we have a hard point for plugging this onto a Kotobukiya flying base or action base, whatever you might want to plug this onto if you wanted to have it in like a jumping or flying pose, whatever. Down here to the hip section, the whole leg can kind of drop down to give you a little bit further range forward. Now you are going to be a little bit blocked by this piece of armor here on the front of the thigh, but they've thought of that as well. So if you remove this off the front of here, you can see there's 3 slots there on the back. So if you just move it to the kind of lower position, therefore you guys can kind of see the difference between the higher position and lower position. It's just a small difference there, but that will, again, once you drop this whole section down there and have that part move down, it will allow you some further articulation up to the front here for the leg. And in the knee, of course, we do have a double joint here as well. It's pretty tight, I found this section, so make sure that you're a little bit careful with that, but you can get a full 180-degree bend there at the knee, which is very cool. Down here at the foot, this ankle armor is on a little ball joint, so you can kind of move that a little bit around as needed. The foot itself can move forward and back. You can also bend this to rotate side to side a little bit like that, so you can get a really nice wide stance and keep the feet flat on the ground. Up underneath the feet though, however, interestingly, no detail there, just kind of flat without any detail is a little bit odd, but that's it for all of the articulation. But alright, so let's wrap up the review here by trying out some different poses here with this guy. And as you can see from just going through the articulation and just all the details that this kit has, it's going to look really good posed up. I think that's one thing that I really like about this, even though it is going to be all black, so you may want to go in and add some more details into this, or if you are planning on repainting it, it would be a great way to show off some more of those details. I think it does look really good in black, but if you did want to show off some more of those details, doing it in some other different color scheme, of course, could work really well. Also, it'd be interesting. I think this is going to be one that hopefully we'll see plenty of different custom builds of, because I think it is, number one, just really highly customizable, just with the hard points that you have on there. Adding other different weapons parts from the MSG line or anything like that to kind of customize it more, or even just as simple as painting it in an alternate color scheme, I think would look really awesome. So it'd be interesting to see what people end up doing with some of the releases from this line. This is obviously just the first one, but we also have the Strato Hound on the way, and then I'm sure we'll have some more. We also have the mecha kits coming out as well, not from Kotobukiya, but those are also on the way. So this will certainly be an interesting line to keep your eyes on. If you guys can stomach the price of this one, I think it's definitely worth checking out. A really cool kit. And like I said, being a fan of the Bandai Figure Eyes Ultraman kits, there are kind of a lot of similarities just kind of in the overall outward appearance of it. So this is definitely a kit that I really enjoy just the looks of. I think it looks really cool, and it's certainly one that I'm going to be looking forward to doing a custom paint job on, I think, in the future. I'm not exactly sure when, if it'll be right away or not, I don't think so, but I will definitely be looking forward to working on this kit some more, and some more in the future releases of the line as well. But as always, guys, if you want to check out the kit for yourself or anything else from Kotobukiya, you can check the link in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there from Kotobukiya, as well as paints, tools, and supplies, everything else that you guys might need, so check that out. And as always, thanks so much for all of your support, liking the video, commenting, and making sure that you're subscribed also helps out a great deal. So really appreciate it, guys. Till next time, have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.